We are Wes and Maggie Rockwood.
And we're ambassadors for the 2025 St. Francis Gala. So I guess our story kind of started about 2 years ago when we decided to start trying to have a family. And it was taking a little longer than we had originally expected. I got diagnosed with PCOS, and we were seeing Allie at the time. And so we had to go through a couple of hurdles with that, just different medications and things to be able to ovulate and get kind of where we wanted to go. About, I think it was July of 23, we found out we were expecting. Yeah. And we went to the hospital and were transferred to Dodson for care and had did like the blood tests, and the numbers weren't rising like they were supposed to. So they told us we would likely miscarriage, and we did about 2 weeks after that. So that was tough, but we kept going. And in the November of 23, we found out we were expecting again and excited, and went back to see Dodson and did our blood tests, and everything looked good there. So we were through that hurdle, and we thought, great, it's gonna happen this time. So we were moving forward. We went in for our first ultrasound, I think either the end of November or beginning of December, and there was no fetal pole. So at that time, we made the decision with Dr. Dodson to have a DNC. And I remember it's a hard decision to make, but there was nothing that we could really do about it. Dr. Dodson kind of helped us work through our options, and it was really it was nice working with her, and then figuring out that she was actually going to be the one to do the surgery was really helpful, and like put me a little bit more at ease about it, I guess. So after that was in December, we decided to just kind of take a break, take a breather for a little while, and just hang out and see kind of what happened. We quit all of our medications and just kind of were ourselves and weren't really planning anything. And then in June of this year, actually the week of my birthday, we found out we were expecting again. We were excited, but very cautiously excited. A lot of anxiety going on, but still hopeful. So went in for our blood test and everything was looking good. Went in for our ultrasound, our first ultrasound a couple weeks later, and we saw our baby for the first time. So now we are about 8 months pregnant and expecting at the beginning of February, and we're super excited. It's kind of a quiet, or it's like a silent struggle that, you don't tell a lot of people about. And so it's kind of like suffering in silence a little bit. And it's not like, of course I would tell my close friends, and, Wes and I obviously were together with it, but it's still hard. It's something that you don't really expect to ever go through. And it's just helpful hearing other people's stories too. And knowing that you're not alone in what you've been through. And I don't know, I just kind of hope that going through this and talking about it will help other people as well. Know that, you can be young and be married and have jobs and have everything going for you. And sometimes it still just doesn't work out. And you don't know the reason for that. But eventually, hopefully everyone that wants to will get there. We were lucky, I guess, with this one, so...
It wasn't without the tribulations, though. It's tricky, and it's hard to know how to support. But I think we've kind of figured it out.
Yeah. Definitely just talking to each other. I had a really great support system, as Allie, spoiler, is one of my best friends. We've actually been friends since we were 3 or 4 years old, and grew up in Maryville together. So having her support was so crucial, I think, for myself, not only as a friend, but as a provider as well. So just being able to talk about it with her, and those days where you don't want to get out of bed, like, you know, that somebody will come over and drag you out of bed and make you go get dinner and make you feel better.
I think just knowing that we cared for each other more than the outcome of the next attempt, I guess. The lost pregnancies were difficult, but we always said, like, hey, we're here, we're in this together. We're not, you know, it's not a make or break, make or break deal breaker, however you want to say that. It's an addition to our family. We're still together.
Yeah, I think that was helpful too. I mean, a lot of times you think, like, what am I doing wrong? Is he still going to want to be with me? You know, like, we've always talked about having a family, so kind of like shifting that in your head and thinking, like, maybe that's not going to happen. Like, what's our life going to look like, you know? And his support was great too. I mean, just reassuring me that no matter what happened and no matter why it was happening, like, he would still be here, and we would figure out what our life looked like, just us, if we needed to. It's been hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot of anxiety on my part, just because it felt like every time we got through a step before the next thing that came, we would get bad news. And so it was just going through it super cautiously, and, you know, not like we didn't tell a lot of people until, I mean, we were probably 4 or 5 months pregnant, just because there was so much anxiety that went along with, like, sharing our story and sharing that, like, you know, we're expecting, but then thinking, like, I might have to go back and tell people that it didn't work out again. So it's been a lot of anxiety, but Dr. Dodson and Allie have both been super helpful and reassuring the whole way, answering any questions that we have, whether it's a call into the clinic or a message through my chart or a text to Allie herself. Like, this is normal, it's okay, you know. I started to feel kind of icky one day, and they got me right in just to check me out and make sure that everything was going okay. Although it's exciting, but for me, it's been a lot of anxiety. I think now I'm kind of like towards, like, okay, this is really gonna happen, and I'm like 5 or 6 weeks out, so it's been a lot.
I feel for you, from the bottom of my heart. I know what it takes to keep trying. It's hard, but the excitement that we have now is well worth it, I think, to keep trying. It's not necessarily easy, and you're not alone.
I think I haven't shared, I think, with a lot of people. So, like, basically only my close friends and my providers know, and our families. But other than that, we haven't shared a lot. I think that it's important. I remember last year's gala was also for Women's Health, and we attended and got to hear all of the stories of the people there, and that really struck home, like, with me, like, seeing that all of these people also have struggles. And so, like, if we can be that story for someone else and help them realize that there's been people that have gone through it, and people even just here in Maryville that have the same issues, even if they don't know us personally, that hopefully that can help them get through a tough time.